Welcome back to the Ultimate Trumpet Podcast. Today we're talking about something almost every serious young trumpet player eventually has to confront. Music school, the music degree, and what happens after graduation. This episode is based on Michael Drosty's TrumpetStudio.com article, The Music Degree Math Nobody Shows You.
It's a provocative title, but the question behind it is important. How many trumpet players graduate every year compared with how many professional orchestral trumpet chairs actually open? Before anybody panics, we are not here to tell young musicians not to go to music school. We are here to have an honest conversation about what a music degree is and what it is not.
A desire to become a better musician and an expectation that a 4-year degree will deliver a full-time orchestra job are very different things.
So let's start with the numbers. Music schools graduate a great many musicians. Estimates have put new trumpet performance graduates in the neighborhood of a couple hundred per year across undergraduate and graduate programs, depending on the year and how the data is counted. Now compare that with the number of full-time professional trumpet jobs that actually become available.
An orchestra does not add a chair every time a university graduates another trumpet major. A typical orchestra may have 3, 4, or 5 trumpet players, and that structure mostly stays in place. A chair opens because somebody retires, resigns, moves, leaves the profession, or, occasionally, because an orchestra expands.
The chair already exists. It is not created by the number of graduates.
Imagine a simple example. 200 trumpet performance degrees are awarded in a year, and 30 professional trumpet positions become available. That suggests 6 graduates for every opening. But even that is incomplete, because those positions are not necessarily all full-time orchestral jobs. They may include military bands, teaching work, professional ensembles, or other kinds of employment.
The bigger complication is that the people competing are not only this year's graduates. Someone who finished 3 years ago may still be auditioning, as might someone who graduated a decade ago. An outstanding player already holding an orchestral job may also be trying to move to a better one.
The applicant pool is cumulative.
That is what I wish every serious music student understood before starting college. The competition is not simply one graduating class against a fixed number of openings. It is a large, constantly moving pool of talented people.
This is usually where someone says music degrees must be useless, and that conclusion misses the point completely. The fact that there are not enough orchestra chairs for every trumpet major does not mean the education lacks value. It means the degree has to be understood correctly.
A music degree is an education, not a job coupon.
4 years with an excellent teacher can give you ensemble experience, theory, ear training, history, chamber music, repertoire, performance practice, and a much more complete understanding of music. None of that becomes worthless because you do not win an orchestra audition at 22. In fact, the skills can become more valuable as your career develops.
It is also worth remembering that college is one of the few times in a musician's life when the main job can be to learn. You have regular access to teachers, practice rooms, ensembles, concerts, a library, and other musicians who care deeply about getting better. That environment can be transformative. The mistake is not investing in it. The mistake is treating it as a transaction in which tuition automatically purchases a particular job title.
When a student chooses a school, it helps to separate the artistic question from the career question. Artistically, ask whether you will get stronger there. Will you have a teacher who challenges you? Will you play enough? Will you be surrounded by people who make you want to practice? Career-wise, ask what the school helps graduates learn beyond the audition itself. Does it expose them to teaching, community work, recording, entrepreneurship, arts administration, and the ordinary practical skills of being self-employed?
Those questions are not less serious than asking who won a major orchestra job 20 years ago. They are often more useful because they describe the actual life most working musicians build. Several streams of work, changing over time, supported by strong playing and a reputation for being prepared, reliable, and good to work with.
Teaching is a perfect example. A good trumpet player who understands how to teach can build a private studio, work with beginners and advanced students, support band programs, and teach online. That musician is not limited to the number of orchestral chairs that happen to open in a given year.
The same is true of freelance work. Weddings, church services, commercial gigs, big bands, brass quintets, recording sessions, theater, and regional ensembles. Those jobs may not be the exact dream you had at 17, but they are not lesser forms of musicianship.
Ask, what can I do because I have this education, rather than only, what job does this degree qualify me for?
Consider two graduates. One is an excellent trumpet player. The other is also an excellent player but can teach, arrange, record, write, create educational material, use technology, perform in different styles, build a website, and communicate with an audience. The second musician has more ways to build a resilient career, not necessarily because she plays better, but because she can solve more problems for more people.
You do not have to be the world's greatest trumpet player to build a meaningful musical life.
You do have to become useful. When someone needs a trumpet player, you can play. When they need a beginning student taught, you can teach. When they need a brass arrangement, a recording, music for a podcast, or an educational book, you can help with that too. Your degree no longer needs one particular job to validate it. It becomes part of a much larger toolbox.
And being useful does not mean saying yes to everything or becoming a frantic generalist. It means noticing what you do well, developing a few complementary skills, and becoming dependable. Maybe you are the player who reads anything, the teacher who gets great results with middle school students, the person who can make a clean recording quickly, or the musician who brings people together for a good concert. Those identities grow from repeated work, not from a label printed on a diploma.
There's a financial side to this, too. Early in a music career, one orchestra audition may be an important opportunity, but it is rarely a complete business plan. A modest private studio, regular freelance work, or a part-time teaching position can give you stability and keep you playing while you improve. That stability can actually make you a better audition candidate because it lets you prepare thoughtfully instead of treating one result as a verdict on your whole future.
A musician's career can have seasons. In one period, you may perform constantly. In another, you may teach more, write an arrangement, learn recording, raise a family, or take a job that supports your musical work. None of those changes means you abandoned music. The goal is not to follow one rigid script. The goal is to keep building a life in which music remains central and sustainable.
None of this means forget the orchestra. If your dream is to play in an orchestra, pursue it wholeheartedly. Practice your excerpts, learn the repertoire, take mock auditions, listen to great players, study with someone who knows the field, and learn to perform under pressure.
Give yourself a real shot.
Just do not make the mistake of believing an orchestra chair is the only legitimate destination for a serious trumpet player. Some of the most important musicians in your life may never have played in a major symphony orchestra. A band director, private teacher, or the person who helped you through your first terrible audition can change a life through music.
There is another healthy way to look at auditions. They can be part of your education. Preparing an audition teaches focus, consistency, repertoire, self-recording, and how you respond under pressure. You may win, you may advance, or you may learn exactly what needs work. The result matters, of course, but the preparation has value even when the chair goes to someone else.
That does not mean you should pretend rejection feels good. It can hurt, especially after months of preparation and travel. But a rejection is not evidence that you are not a musician. It is one result in a field where a single committee chooses one person on one day from a deep pool of excellent players. Learn what you can, get back to work, and keep your identity larger than any audition list.
So if you are looking at colleges right now, what should you seek? First, a great teacher, not necessarily the most famous name, but the right teacher for you. Someone who understands where you are and knows what you need next. Second, find abundant playing opportunities: orchestra, band, jazz ensemble, chamber music, brass quintet, solo work, and accompanying singers. You need to play.
Third, get a broad education. Do not dismiss theory and ear training as unrelated to trumpet playing. Understanding music makes you a better musician. Fourth, pay attention to the people around you. Classmates become a professional network. Today's pianist may be hiring musicians decades from now. A composer may write something for you, and a professor may recommend you for work.
Music remains a remarkably human profession.
Fifth, learn the business of music. Learn to teach and freelance, invoice someone, make a basic recording, understand copyright, communicate with an audience, market yourself without becoming obnoxious, build a website, and use the technology available to you.
A student does not have to master every business skill before graduation. The point is to begin paying attention. If you can write a clear email, show up on time, keep a simple calendar, send an invoice, and follow through when someone recommends you, you are already ahead of many people. Professionalism is not glamorous, but it is one of the reasons work keeps coming back.
It also helps to talk honestly with teachers and older students about their working lives. Ask how they balance teaching and performing, how they found their first students, what they wish they had learned earlier, and which opportunities proved unexpectedly valuable. Real career stories are often less tidy than the brochure version, but they can be far more encouraging because they show that there are many viable paths.
Today's musician can record an album at home, teach someone on the other side of the world, publish a book without a traditional publisher, release music independently, create an educational app, make a podcast, or build an audience around a highly specific expertise. None of that guarantees success, but it gives musicians more ways to build a career than earlier generations had.
Technology is not a replacement for musicianship. A beautiful website will not substitute for a beautiful sound, and a social media account will not replace preparation. But technology can help a good musician reach people, organize work, share ideas, and create things that once required a large organization. Used well, it extends the work you already care about rather than distracting from it.
The exact number of trumpet majors and orchestral openings changes year to year, and the available data is imperfect. But the basic answer is clear. Far more trumpet players are being trained than there are new full-time orchestral trumpet chairs.
That is not an insult to music school. It is reality.
And knowing that reality can make a young musician stronger. You stop waiting for somebody else to define your career. You can still chase the orchestra while also becoming a teacher, freelancer, writer, arranger, recording musician, composer, entrepreneur, or something we have not even mentioned.
20 years from now, you may realize the degree was valuable not because it got you one particular job, but because it gave you the musical foundation to build a life.
That is especially important for parents and students making an expensive decision. Do not ask only, what is the placement rate? Ask what kind of musician you will become, what kinds of experiences you will have, and whether the cost leaves room for the life you want after school. A less expensive school with the right teacher and a strong community can sometimes serve a student better than the most prestigious name on a brochure.
The best choice is personal. Some players thrive in a huge conservatory, while others grow more in a university program with more room to explore, perform, teach, or pursue another interest alongside music. There is no single correct answer. What matters is choosing with open eyes, a willingness to work, and a plan broad enough to survive contact with reality.
Don't let the math scare you. Let it make you smarter.
Learn the excerpts, practice your fundamentals, become an excellent trumpet player, go to auditions, and take the shot. But do not measure the value of your musical life by whether somebody eventually hands you an orchestral chair.
There may not be a chair.
That's the math.
But you are bigger than the math.
And that is the part that matters. For more trumpet education, visit trumpetstudio.com. If you're looking for a place to practice, check out Trumpet Studio Practice Hub on the App Store. And do not forget Michael Drosty's books, The Ultimate Warm-Up for Trumpet, The Ultimate Technical Study for Trumpet, and The Ultimate Wedding Book for Trumpet.
If you enjoy the podcast, please rate and like us on the podcast app. It really helps other trumpet players find the show.
We'll be back with another episode soon.
Now go practice.